and welcome to Yo Pop's podcast with me, Sean Williams, and my dad.
And good morning.
We'd like to wish everybody a happy Black History Month.
Yes.
It should be way more than a month, but we'll start
Yes,
with a
I mean,
month.
it should be the whole year.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
We hope that you've had an amazing week so far. Also, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. Dad, we're absolutely everywhere. My dad's URL, Bishop L.A. Williams. Mine at Sean Williams World, at Yo Pops Poddy. How are you feeling this morning, Dad?
I am I'm feeling great.
Yeah, you look like you're feeling great.
Yeah, I am.
I quite enjoyed your Bible study online last night.
You did?
Well, there were some funny things that happened, whilst there was also some very deep, insightful things being said. I'll tell you guys about it next time.
Okay.
Dad, if possible, I really want to jump into some questions that I have. Obviously, Black History Month. I've always known it to be a much bigger thing in America.
Yes.
I think it started to kind of catch on here more so. Obviously, we have Notting Hill Carnival. I know that different cities have different expressions to honor Black history and Black heritage. But in terms of what I see now as a media push and drive, it has a much more prevalent place.
Yeah.
In fact, it's quite a good question to ask. When you first came to England, was Black History Month a big thing, or was it even a thing?
I don't think it was even
thing.
recognized.
Okay. So then you can even see just in that kind of space of time how it's kind of developed.
Yes, it has evolved.
Yeah, that's a good word. It's definitely evolved.
Thank you.
So,
Yes, it has indeed. Of course, I think a lot more could be done.
oh, for sure.
And perhaps in our discussion, then I would highlight some of those things that I think could be implemented to make it more acceptable, more realistic, and more important, plays a more vital role in the lives of individuals and communities.
Okay. Are you talking about Black individuals and Black communities, or are you talking about...
Yeah, both. Because if you impact the Black individual and the community, it's gonna enrich the general community. Anyhow.
That's very true. Very true. All right, and Dad, on that basis, let's jump into it. First question: what do you think Black History Month would look like, or even Black history? Forget Black History Month. What do you think Black history would look like if it was truly integrated into our everyday society and culture?
I think it would be really powerful.
Okay.
And as mentioned earlier on, I think it would greatly enrich individuals as well as the community per se, and which I think would lead to a richer and greater cultural collaboration, where everyone would feel that they have their input in a meaningful way, rather than just sporadic representation or sporadic, mention or involvement, which can leave some feeling like, disconnected.
Yeah.
Really.
Dad, can I ask you a question? The Shadow Prime Minister, Kemi Badenoch, made a statement based on the fatwa that Rob Jenrick had created. Had you heard about what Mr. Jenrick had done?
No.
So there was a focus group that he, I believe, was speaking to in Birmingham. He'd gone to some form of kind of meeting or whatnot. And when the visual cameras had turned off, he kept talking.
Right. Yeah.
And potentially didn't realize that he was still being recorded. And the statement that he made was that he was shocked that whilst walking down the road of this particular constituency area, that he didn't see another white face.
Right.
And obviously, as media does, it was picked up, it was put to him. He was very combative in terms of his stance. Now, me looking at it objectively and personally, I don't think if the current climate politically, especially where ethnicity and race is concerned, if it wasn't at the temperature it was now, that I think his climb down is way quicker and far faster. But I do think that there is a certain level of emboldenment in certain political places that allow people to maybe feel freer to say what they think that they didn't maybe think it would be politically correct or justifiable to say, let's say even maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And Kemi Badenoch came out and defended him. And she said, which is the question I want to ask, that she doesn't want Britain to be multicultural, but she wants it to be multiracial. To which, me personally, I don't see the division, Dad, because you can't have a multiracial society and then not absorb those cultural
differences.
right.
Yeah.
And I say that on the basis of that even from your birth home, when colonial powers went in there, they did not go in there to become or to make Jamaica
Racial.
right. They brought certain protocols and standards and said, this is how it's going to be.
Yeah.
So that kind of, it frazzled my brain because I was just like, okay, it sounds good, but to anybody that has half a brain to go, well, they're one and the same. So I wanted to ask someone that was a little bit older than me, a little bit more wisdom, a lot more wisdom.
A little bit. Oh, yeah. I'm glad you correct yourself.
Yeah, but I'm glad to see what's really in your heart concerning that. Dad, do you believe that you can be multiracial and not multicultural?
Yeah, I think given who it's coming from, is clearly feeding into a certain narrative.
Oh, 100%.
And highly political. I believe that given the extent of her intelligence, I really don't think that's coming from the heart.
Right.
I think it is, as I said, at the top of the head to appease the environment in which she is functioning presently, because clearly the beauty about multiculturalism is that it acknowledge and recognize everyone's input and everyone's ability to impact society, no matter who it is, no matter what race, creed, or color. You know, we are connected in so many ways, and I think that enriches people more than just a culture.
Yeah.
As you take, for example, cricket. I mean, cricket is predominantly a European, in fact, English practice.
Right?
They go, but yet it is being played globally, and impacting people at incredible levels. And so, who would deny that is just about race? Rather than see it as a culture that everyone can aspire to. And it was introduced to the colonies, if one want to call it that, and was adapted. And what did it do? It enriches the culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rather than things, hey, I tell you what, only certain people can play cricket. It doesn't ring true. So I think that's really a bit of a cop-out, if you ask me.
No, I hear it. I love when you say that. Dad, what does representation really mean? And is visibility enough to create lasting change?
I think, again, representation, it's something that are being tried. And so, but I think it leans more to visibility rather than having it as actual integration within society.
How do you mean?
So, for example, you may give a token, a bit like Black History Month. You know what I mean? Why 1 month out of
Right.
12? Isn't it? So that for me is a basic representation to project a certain visibility that, okay, we are doing something to acknowledge, a difference. But real integration would mean it's every month, once per week in every month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you then push it further, rather than just in something like football, like certain musical display. It would be part of everyday curriculum. It would be part of the educational system. It would be, it would be integrated in all of these things.
It's so funny you say that because, all right, as you know, Dad, after I did my A-levels, I got signed and I moved to America.
Mm-hmm.
Now, up until that point, I had done 18 years of schooling.
Right.
When I got to the part of my education where I was allowed to choose what I did completely, because with your GCSEs, they gave you certain options. So there was the fundamental subjects you had to do: maths, science, English, and then you can kind of pick the other ones that you want to do between humanities or physical education or like the technical kind of things, so IT or business studies were starting to come in at that point. Dad, at no point through history, in terms of teaching history, right? I think the only person I had briefly been introduced to was Martin Luther King.
Right.
Briefly. And that's only because he got assassinated. In the way that he did and what his output was to the world, right?
Yeah.
Dad, it wasn't until I left mandatory schooling and went into what we call, at that point it was sixth form education. I'm not sure what it is for the kids now. I think it's like A1 and A2 levels. When I took history, the teacher I had, Mr. Kinlaw, heaven rest his soul, he made Black history a part of the curriculum.
Right.
And he absolutely, Dad, to say that he reprimanded me would be an understatement. Mr. Kinlock took me to town because at the time I didn't realize it, he saw that I was given an opportunity that I wasn't maximizing. And looking back now, I understand that his frustration with me was almost like, you don't know what I had to go through to just be able to sit here, put this information on that board so that you hopefully will take it in and learn something. Dad, for as, what's the word I'm looking for? For as important as the curriculum is,
Right.
somebody very important somewhere decided that part of history was not either relevant, important, or they were just like, they don't need to know about that. And then you look at some of what we see now, and I ask myself, Dad, is it the plan of people in places of absolute influence and power to almost funnel information and education to a place where people are going to learn what they want, so that when we have these massive marches and we see people coming from situations of economic inadequacy, right? So they don't have money or they're struggling and whatnot, and then they lean into what I call these toxic colonial views.
Right.
That, and obviously at any point, be like, well, I'm not sure here, because obviously I want us to debate this. Dad, I can't judge a person that is acting based off of a lack of information. I mean, I can judge you, but I'm not going to deal with you as harshly as I would a person that knew, right? So when we were younger, you'd be like, I don't mind what you do, just never lie to me. No. Did you remember? Because you were just like, at the point of you lying to me, this now turns into a proper affair where it is it's punishable. You were like, there is nothing that I won't seek to understand, even if I've got to discipline you. But I won't do it from a place of being angry because you gave me all of the information.
Yeah.
Dad, I look at so many of these people, right, that are joining themselves to political ideologies and parties and movements, and they have only the information those with more information are choosing to give them.
Right. Yeah. I think one of the interesting things, and when we talk about representation,
Yeah.
is the fact that, again, it has what, for me, a political spin that's going on. In other words, people are not ignorant of the truth, both historical and other means. Otherwise, you could never go to, say, somewhere like AI and ask about Black history, and it will give you reams of information of people. It's there in the library somewhere, but it's who and how a person choose to present it. Like the minister you make mention of, right? If he thought the camera was still on, he would have never
gone into that place.
exactly, express what is really in his heart. Now, it came out because he was unaware that the camera was on,
Yeah.
and those around him he felt were in his corner with a certain level of would have
same
certain
viewpoint.
appreciative
Yeah.
his viewpoint. So he did that, and I think is what you're looking at now at an early stage. Being in Cambridge is one of the things that I've always advocate, that a city like this that has so much people from all aspects of Black culture, etc., should have somewhere that they can identify with. Not only a community center where people can come to feel a sense of belonging, feel connected to away from home. So it's like a home to home situation. But most important to me was to create a library.
Okay.
It was one of the things I advocate, and you may remember Mill Road Library. Now, I wanted that building because I felt that alongside community development and activities, it was important to have history for the younger generation that was coming up to know that, we are not just hangers on, but we have a major contribution to world history, from wars to the continent, which of course everyone know plays such a crucial role in world development in every sense of the word. And so we felt that if people were aware of it, you could even excuse the horribleness of slavery. You could even excuse that as a drop in the proverbial ocean, because that doesn't become the only thing that defines us.
Wow.
Which is where I think the problem is today, in that most situation seems to be apologizing for that. So therefore, you have very limited representation. And that is where I think it leaves one feeling disillusioned.
Can I present you with
Sure.
an idea? The idea I want to present you with. Right. If I present you a picture and I cover 95% of the picture, am I showing you the whole picture?
No.
For a long time, I've believed that the obsession and the overexposure of slavery and what happened during that period is the part of our history that we have been encouraged and funneled to overinvest in. because what it leans into, and especially because of especially where we are, Dad, in human development, the scary part is with all the technological advancement, we are becoming more visual than we ever have been.
Indeed.
Which means we're becoming desensitized to far more powerful parts of our creative dimension than we would have. So if all I see is degradation, oppression, never having enough, never being recognized, never being validated, then the whole basis and anchoring of my existence comes from the worst part of me.
Indeed.
Which is why Nicholas Kinloch will always be a catalyst of how do I put it, of more, Dad, in my life. Because in my coursework, he was annoyed that the only person I wrote about was Martin Luther King. And Dad, when I say this man cussed me, he was just like, so you're telling me Martin Luther King is the only person that did anything for black people? And I was like, well, he goes, and this book on Martin Luther King is the only book that was written about... Dad, he starts going, so tell me about Marcus Garvey and W.E.B. Du Bois and Malcolm X and Black Wall Street and Harriet Tubman. And I was like, whoa. And I wanted to be like, sir, basically, I forgot I had coursework. And I started it at 4 o'clock this morning and the book worked. Dad, he didn't want to hear it.
No.
Because as far as he was concerned, and he, this was one of the most powerful things he said to me. He said, Mr. Williams, he says, I know you're invested in this version of yourself where you think you're going to go off and be this thing in this space. And no lie, Dad, he picked up the book and he threw it down on the desk and he said, did you ever consider this might be in your destiny? Dad, it was the first time, right, that I'd ever sat there and I said, what am I beyond my talent?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying, Dad?
Indeed.
And what it broke my thinking out of this box. You've never ever encouraged any of your sons to think in a narrow-minded way because you've traveled and you've always wanted to expose us to the different elements of what the world is and getting a great understanding of it. Dad, that was the first time that someone outside of potentially you had ever gone to me and said, you're walking this like it's a tightrope. And it's not.
Yeah.
There is so much more open road for you to... And Dad, I sometimes think that some of our thinking as a people is rooted in so much trauma that we never look beyond what we couldn't become.
You're right. Yeah.
Which almost stunts where we can get to. I remember when the George Floyd situation happened and Lucas and I was on the phone and I said, Lucas, I'm not going to talk to anybody. Like, just give me 3 days. And then I shut down my phone. And I remember after 3 days, I basically put this manifesto together. I was like, well, if slavery was 400 years, then the least I've got to do is create a 400-year plan because I've got to cover the time that it took to get us to where we were, right?
Yeah.
And then I built this manifesto called Project Vibranium, which was the 4 principles upon which we can grow and become as a people, which was God, family, finance, education. Dad, Wall Street is a massive financial powerhouse.
Indeed.
Not only just in America, to the world. Dad, I couldn't believe there was a Black Wall Street.
Indeed. Yeah.
The crazy thing is, some of this and some of the newer information I found came from some of the inflammatory things that Charlie Kirk fella was saying.
Yeah.
And the thing that got me more so was just like, Shean, how has this man, who is not necessarily promoting positive welfare
You're right.
within the Black community, he has more knowledge about your history. And he's wielding it.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here, Dad, and I look at some of my peers, and we're so obsessed with validation.
Indeed.
And houses and holidays
Cars.
and cars. and women that
Yes.
we can't lead, conversate with, or build. And we're missing the whole point of some of the, what's the word I'm looking for? The brilliance that God has put within us. So that whole 10-minute sermon I just gave you is for this question, right? do you think that our inability to be shown more than the struggle we went through is stunting our growth as a people?
No, I think you have a few people that has take it upon themselves.
It's like heaven just decided to shine on
There
you,
you
Dad.
go. There you go. I think it's a sermon you preach. I mean, yes. Yeah, I think a few people take it upon themselves to impact the world in a way to give leverage to who they consider themselves to be. You know what I mean? Let's take, for instance, one of the great emperor of history, the Greek Alexander the Great.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this man, within a few years, conquered the then known world.
Yeah.
That's me, one man. So you put a few of that same spirit of Alexander the Great together and decide, okay, well, we are going to give, whether it's our particular race, our particular culture, a particular geographic location, we're going to give them the power and the leverage that they will never, ever feel a sense of inferiority in any way, shape, or form. And they went about it. It does not, a lot of things does not reflect the majority of people on the earth. Right? And this is one of the things that
You're right.
I really believe that
You're right.
the lack of proper representation,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, mislead people thinking that this is a whole, this is the whole, no, right? You think in terms of even the word white, when did it came about? Before, in the 18 whatever, people did not even mention that word because the world didn't see themselves as black and white. You see what I mean? The world understood where we come from, how we evolve, and how important we were to each other because of true historical information, whether it is being Ethiopia that's never been colonized or conquered, Rome, and the list goes on. So,
Dad, just to back up your point, we see it now. There are 5 companies in a global market where there are probably, in this country, Dad, how many businesses or companies would you estimate that we have in this country, roughly?
well, it runs into thousands, I would say. But in terms of real influence, perhaps have about 10.
Right. So, and I say that to say this: if that is in a territory as small as England, and England can fit into the state of Florida, Dad, I think it's some nearly 25 plus times, right? Then if you add all of the amounts of businesses that we have on the globe, the number becomes innumerable. If you look at the handful of companies that are controlling everything.
Exactly.
And that's why I said what I want to say lends itself into your point, because it is the pyramid upon which a couple at the top go, well, it'll be this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Dad, when President Trump came here for his state visit the other day, he came with 5 supremo business techs. And if you're smart, you'd sit there and go, I tell you what, if they're rolling around with him and getting invited to royal dinners, I might want to invest in those companies. Because you've got a seat next to power.
Indeed.
Which means that power is access. If you have access, you have influence because you can get your agenda over. So, Dad, why has it been the agenda and the desire of a few to eradicate such important information to a group of people whose imprint on the world, in my opinion, cannot be measured.
Yeah, they can't. And it's a very, very good question. And it may seem even simplistic, but the word that comes to mind is fear. You see. Now, when you become fearful of something that you are of the opinion you can't control, then you can devise mechanism. I mean, to control that. You know, it is now. Why did, say, a lot of the European countries conquered what they call conquer so many countries? Because of one thing called the gun. It's so I'm saying to you. Now, so when you see a person and you got to look at bow and arrow or whatever it is, and suddenly
Someone's got an automatic thing. It's like smoke comes out of it.
Exactly.
And you can't even see what shoots out of it.
Exactly, the person is dead. Whether it's the lion or the elephant or the person who feel that he has a point to make. I mean, so fear drives that narrative. And in like manner, a different culture comes into power, a different time in history. Yes. But they never last forever.
No.
Yes, I mean. And
it's almost like they get a turn.
Well, this is it. And it is during this, it is that realization that, look, whether you are the Roman Empire, you're going to crash. I mean, whether you're the Grecian Empire, you're going to crash. Whether you are the Babylonian or whatever it is. So what we have is when the colonial countries decided we are going to now do what we did to keep our culture, our people alive. I mean, they went out and they became little empires. Yeah. But they know it's not going to last. So it's what you do to keep on top and give you as much leverage as you want. Let's take America. You see, what people don't quite get, even with America, is that it's an empire that is dying fast, on its feet. It's almost in a coma. Yeah. So what some of the things you see going on is because they can feel this thing of death coming on. And
it's like a person that's terminal. They go two ways, don't they?
Exactly.
You get the person that makes peace with, okay, this is where it's going. And then you get the other person that's like, oh no. Yeah. I'm going to fight this.
Indeed. So the fear of losing that power is what causing some of the crazy stuff that's going on around the world. It's no different in terms of both the race and the culture. How do you keep that? Now you have a race of people, first and foremost, that has 90% of the world's resources,
and doesn't own it.
Well, I mean, they own it, but
Dad.
by means.
Dad.
For what? Right.
I can't wear your suit, right, and then tell you when I'm going to return your suit. Or basically, you want to wear your suit, but I'm telling you where you can wear your suit. And you have to come to me with an application form to say, hi, son. And I'm like, hey, Dad. So you know my suit? Yeah, I know your suit, Dad. I want to wear it. That's nice. Where do you want to wear it to, Dad? Now, firstly, that's problematic to me because I bought that suit.
Right.
I worked so I could buy that suit. And because of the situation we find ourselves in, I'm coming to you because if I don't come to you in this way, you're going to force me to walk naked.
Right.
Dad, in the fundamental foundations, that is unjust.
Indeed.
And unrighteous.
Indeed. Yeah. But when people do these things, they are not thinking in terms of morality. You know what I mean? And that is what is lacking.
That's deep. That's deep.
You know what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
In the world's
They have totally absconded from the intention through which God wanted us to live.
absolutely
And administrate
as
the earth.
as one family. You know what I mean? And that is where I think one need to when the narrative is adjusted, it must not be in favor of one race above another. So it is, we are all God's children, and therefore we all have contribution to make to the good of all mankind. So what, and it goes back, and let me pull up the George Floyd scenario. The people both in history as well as what happened recently that brought about significant change was not, say, mainly black people who did it. It was Europeans.
So white advocates.
Absolutely, who looked at it and said,
saw
"No,
it,
this,
yeah.
yeah, said, look, this is not right." And why the George thing was so impacting, because the generation that experienced it said, "Hello."
They said absolutely not.
I mean, we did not know that this is what was going on, and we're going to fix it. I mean, because I've been to school with my black brother, I've been to school with my black sister, and this narrative is not what we see. We hug each other, we play together.
They haven't yet been overly infected by the toxic structure of what I call class and privilege.
Indeed. And more access. They have more access to information. You see what I mean? And this is where the difference is. So I am very optimistic, and that's one of the things that true and real representation, if it is put in the place and the area that it should, it would bring about incredible, wonderful change. And I'm convinced that the generation that we are now in, the millennials,
I know what you mean.
and
I
Gen
don't know
Z,
if they're Gen Z,
and whatever
A,
it
B,
is,
C, Q, R, L, M, N, O.
But I think that they have the greater perspective on things.
Fearless.
And those up the top which trying to hold on to this kind of narrative, I think it's a losing game.
Dad, thank you so much. We will continue part 2 with you next week. We hope that you've enjoyed this episode today. Any questions that you have, please ask away. Also, you can subscribe and share, and also donate and support what we're trying to do. The links will be along the bottom, and they're also in the bio. If you like what we're doing and you appreciate how we do it, then feel free to support. Don't forget my father's URL at Bishop L.A. Williams, mine at Shean Williams World. So from me, take it easy, guys. From my dad,
peace.
bye, guys.